Hey everyone, it's Shinobi here, and today I have a very special announcement before I start the video, of course. So, this video was made for Designer Dave, but if you are also new to Epsilon, WoW, this video will also be for you. However, though, I'd recommend that you watch this video before playing Epsilon, WoW. So, first let me just check the sound. Epsilon, WoW, this... Oh, shoot! That is so loud. Sorry, guys. I did not mean to hurt your eardrums. Alright. So, to download Epsilon WoW, what you're going to want to do is to make sure you go to the original website, and then, once it's installed, put it in games, and then it'll be able to, basically you'll be able to play it, but it will take a while to load. However, like, it will be worth the wait. So anyways, let's get started. I'm going to get started on my OC Daniel, just to give him the basics of this. And also, they will have tips right where my cursor is, like, just in case if you want to find something, well, some tips or anything. And sometimes it'll say not responding, but you gotta give it a chance to load, because like sometimes they have to load in extra data to make sure that it's encrypted and all. And sometimes it will close out unexpectedly, but don't worry, your stuff will be saved. So to go to a phase that you already own, first let's just ignore the chat real quick. Type PH own, and then you'll go to your own phase. So mine is currently in Quel'Thalas, but a phase is kind of like your own private server where you get to make things and spawn things in. Kind of like how I spawned that ship over there. Alright, so if you want to create your own phase, press PH, well, type .ph create, and give your thing a name. However, I won't be going through everything. I'll just be going through a lot of details. So, you can make your own NPCs and stuff, and I'll get to that later. So, this is my NPC, obviously, and you can even give them dialogue and stuff like that. And you could even have some NPCs from the original game itself and play as them. You can even use unreleased items, but keep in mind, this server is only currently up to date to Battle for Azeroth, meaning that the latest features will not be available yet. So, basically, just make sure that you wait for the next update, which is Shadowlands, and it'll be pretty cool. So, you got inventory and stuff like that. As you can see, I went through a lot of things, and you start off with 1,000 gold for some reason. Also, if you want to change your appearance in mid-game, all you have to do is type .cheat and barb. So basically, you'll have the barber interface on, and this doesn't always work, but it is pretty good. So I'm gonna get my horns back real quick, and as I'm clicking there, sometimes it doesn't work, but if that doesn't work, just type .char cust for character customize, and then you'll get a little message right here that says customization for your player will be requested at login. So what you want to do is log out, go to customize your character, and then basically you can do just about anything you want. But if you wanted to change your race, you got to make sure that your class is changeable, basically. So for example, like, only blood elves and night elves can be demon hunters, unfortunately, but that might change in the future. And this will also have very well, not limited, but very customization. So basically you'll have scars and stuff, and certain hairstyles that weren't even in the game in the first place. Like, you could have, let's see. You could have the Prince haircut, which is one of my personal favorites. You could have this little Nightborn haircut with a few more of them, and you can even have Stanley's hair, and this little samurai tail and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have my hair back to the way it was, and so yeah, basically humans will also have different customization. They will also have different hairstyles that are currently not available in retail WoW. So basically, you could have Uther's haircut if you wanted to. You could have Stan Lee's haircut, which is available for most races. You could have the Prince haircut. This is one of my personal favorites. You could have a little side piece, and this is my personal favorite haircut, Jen Greymane's haircut. And there's a lot to choose from. But make sure you always look on the back, so that way you'll know if there's a mistake. And if you go to features, you can even have humans with elf ears. And brow styles, they only have 4 of them. They got bushy eyebrows, short eyebrows, very bushy eyebrows, and long eyebrows, as if you were a blood elf or something. And they got different kinds of facial hair too, like some strange combinations, some that aren't usable in the current retail WoW, and a lot more. And you can even have your face look different, but the only downside to this is you can't really choose your eye color, which is not really that nice. I mean, I wouldn't say not that great. You can even choose your skin color, and you could be a necromancer if you want to, and if you want to be like, if you want to look like a Death Knight but not actually be one, that's allowed too. And you could even be a dark human, and you could even be wood for some reason, and you could even have these hairstyles, or you could just be pitch black like a shadow. And certain haircuts, I mean not cuts, hairstyles will not be available. And certain hairstyles that were in the game won't be allowed due to the fact that this is that they're running on limited resources. And you can also have a beardless dwarf if you want, like, which is pretty cool. And honestly, I think that Blizzard should do this, and I mean, like, it's not the end of the world if they don't, but I think this will be pretty good. I mean, like, I am pretty grateful for the game anyhow. And you got certain hair colors and styles, and I wanted my dwarf to have sort of like the Prince haircut or something like that, or maybe this haircut but without the braids. Not that I have anything against braids or beards or anything, but I just like having short hair. And also you could have several different skin colors for dwarves, like gray, dark iron. You could have stone, emerald, ruby. I don't know what this stone is called. Coal, and either lapis or sapphire. I'm not quite sure. And you could even have a fiery gold, death knight, and much more. You could even have pitch black, but this only works for some of them, of course. And orcs have more customization than the original orcs themselves. So basically, they could have several different skin colors, like blue, green, yellow, red, gray, brown, stuff like that. And they could even be pitch black if you want. And yeah, and you can also choose your position and stuff like that. And as for accessories, like they have some of their own, like these bone tattoos. I mean, not bone tattoos, those bone piercings through arms, and some spikes, stuff like that. And yeah, it's actually pretty cool. And as for features, they got wild teeth, and you can even have them with one hand and pretend they're a pirate or something. But the Doom is pretty good, and they have all the orc hairstyles that are available and stuff like that, which is very nice. And basically, you get to do whatever you want because this is your game basically. And as for undead, they have something called limb styles. So basically, you could choose where you want the limbs to be and where you don't want them to be. And for your torso, you could finally you could have a torso sort of like that. And features will be different too. You can even have Forsaken elves, which is sort of pointless but good at the same time, because if you want an elf but not a blood elf that's undead, you could basically make this. And it's also now confirmed that that in Epsilon WoW, undead can have facial hair, such like this. And tauren are pretty customizable too, and stuff like that. And you could even have them have certain facial hairs that you want them to have. You can make them have horns that are either from the bull species or the moose species, which is pretty nice. And they even have their own customizable ones. You can even choose your tattoos, regardless of your tribe or anything, and your main styles, which is good. They even got their own piercings. And as for the trolls, they're not really as customizable as Zandalar, but they're still pretty good, and still better than retail. But they still have the gougers as their tusks. I like to have little fangs. You can even have facial hair. You can choose certain markings and stuff like that. Basically tribal face paint. And you can have different skin colors now. I'm not quite sure what this is. I'll call it a tiger stripe or something. And you can even have the same skin colors as Zandalar trolls. And you can even be a Zandalar mummy. Whatever you want, basically, as long as it exists. But you'll also notice that their eyes will change to teal, I guess. And they'll also have a lot of different hairstyles, which is pretty cool. And if you don't like the trim on others, they have one where you could just make it the solid color that you want. I like to keep mine at either black or navy blue, something like that. I guess I'll keep it at this one. And blood elves, just like demon hunters, blood elves are, just like night elves, blood elves are highly customizable. So, for example, you don't have to be a demon hunter to have the horns or scars anymore. So, for example, choose any of these classes, and it's not limited to demon hunter. You could even choose a priest, and tattoo colors and stuff like that. You don't even have to be a certain class. And you can choose different hair colors, which look the same sometimes, but then you'll notice that they'll have the blood elf jewel colors and bands. And as for features, you could have long eyebrows, medium curvy eyebrows, and short eyebrows, which are my favorite. You could even choose your own horns. And as for accessories, you can even choose how tall the ears are. I like to keep them this tall. And they have several hairstyles. The only one that's genuinely missing that we need, on my opinion, is the prince. But they do got the forehawk, which is pretty nice. And certain faces will have different eye colors. You could even have them green, blue, yellow, and sometimes red. Especially if you're a dark elf. If you're a dark elf, you could even choose your eye colors and stuff like that. But blue is replaced with red. And yeah, there's several skin colors that you could choose from. And the tricky thing about the Worgen though is like if you change something on the Worgen, it will be changed on your character. So basically, you're not really free to choose like what your human form looks like. You are, but like it'll mess up your Worgen identity as well, which is pretty strange. And Ponderans, they currently have no major changes to them. So basically, you can make them look however you want to. Like, as long as it's from Battle for Azeroth and stuff like that. And, yeah. And, as for Night Elves, this is one thing I forgot. When you go to accessories, you could also choose your own blindfold, which is nice, just like the Blood Elves. And your tattoo. Oh, whoa, that's a little rated R. Let me just. There we go. So yeah, your tattoos you could even choose, and also certain horns will be available too. And if you choose another selection of horns, you could be sort of like a centaur druid or something. And you even have lots of skin colors for Blood Elves, like green, blue, yellow, normal, like sort of like tan. And there's a lot more. And you can even have fire, mummified, cursed, wood, other shades, and just pitch black. But not every race can be pitch black. And as for the Draenei, it's pretty cool because you could actually choose their hair and horn style. Let's say you don't like you like the haircut, but you don't like the horns. Well, good news. You could change them. However, some of these haircuts won't really match and go through some of the things. Sort of like this one, for example. But it's yours. Do whatever you want, and you can even go without tendrils. Lightforged Draenei are slightly different, but they don't have the color yellow yet. And these are allied races. Well, these are core races over here, and these are allied races. So you could even play as a Void Elf, but not all the hair colors are unlocked. You can even have Void skin, which is pretty nice. And you don't even have to be in your certain phase or anything. And hairstyles in this game, they don't let you have the accessories, but I'm hoping for future updates that will happen. Something like that. And the best hair color to match the Void skin would probably be something like this. And I don't like having facial hair on my characters unless if it's very minimal, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And Lightforged Draenei, they can have runes and stuff, but they're only limited to 3 shades of blue, which is very unfair. But hey, beggars can't be choosers. And Ironforged Dwarves, they're just like the Mag'har Orcs, they have slightly less customization. And Tauren, nothing really has changed with these guys. And let's check out Mechanome. So Mechanome's, let's see. There's not really much there, but modifications are pretty good and stuff like that. But even if you if you want to play as a normal gnome or something like that with Mechanome hairstyles, that's now possible. And some additional hairstyles will be included as well. And as for goblins, they've got a little bit more. Like, they even got eyebrows now and stuff like that. And some of them have gnome haircuts. And as for Zendalar Troll, there's not really much that has changed with their customizations, so there's no point in showing that. Same with High Mountain Tauren. And Nightborn. So Nightborns, they have the same original haircuts that they originally had, but the only downside to this is that they don't really have the hair colors that we have in WoW, and we also can't have their eyes slightly closed and certain things. but they do still have the skin colors that you guys like. And last but not least, for Volpira, I don't know if anything changed for these guys. Oh yeah, it did. So certain patterns can basically be changed at any time, and like you could even have a pattern from a different tribe if you want to. That's pretty much it for customizing your character. Now let's move on to creating things. Also, sorry if this loading takes a little bit. It just happens sometimes. Alright, so I'm going to go to PH own. So, certain tutorials are not really written correctly, so basically that's why I'm here to help. And also, if you want to have someone in this stance while they're running, all you have to do is just learn this spell, and the spell ID. You could either look it up by typing .lookup spell and the spell that you want, or you could just straight out find the ID and say learn. And you can even fly in this mode, but when you're flying slowly it looks like you're swimming, but when you press shift it'll look like you're running. You can even run on water regardless of your class or race, and you can breathe underwater too. So this right here, this little Quel'Thalas place, this is just an unfinished level that the developers haven't really made. And if David, who hopefully is watching this video eventually, does confirm this, maybe he could tell us a little bit more of what happened to Quel'Thalas. Well, like we all know what happened, but like what happened to it in World of Warcraft. So Quel'Thalas is basically just the Ghostlands at the moment, and you can get into a lot of like unfinished areas, but sometimes you can even use the object mover and use yourself as an object. And I'm gonna sprint a little bit more. And also transmogs in this game, I don't know how these work, so basically you're gonna until I figure out, unless if you know, you're gonna have to go with the exact item and stuff. Like basically they won't just be for the look, but also for the stats, which is kind of concerning. But like I said, there's only so much I know. Oh, there's Hearthglen, one of the only places to survive. So yeah, you could go into any unfinished area that you want, as long as it exists and stuff like that. And certain classes will be there. So we got Eastern Plaguelands and stuff like that. But I'm gonna show you a little bit of Quel'Thalas. But before I show you Quel'Thalas, I should probably show you a bit of Stratholme. I mean, like, it's possible to go to Stratholme without jumping the boundaries or the hitboxes, but like it'll just look slightly, well, not even slightly, like very unfinished, and the sidewalks won't even make any sense and stuff like that. I don't know why Blizzard kept this there, but it's good. Also, now we're in Quel'Thalas. So right here we got a slaughterhouse for some reason, and most of it is just a bunch of green grass. And if you look over there, you can see that this area has actually been claimed by the Scourge. So basically, the Blood Elves didn't really have a chance in here, but we do got a little bit of a table, we got some fences, we got a lot of things. Oh, and there's even a meat wagon over there with a... Is that a cage? Yeah, that's a cage. And I think that's a skull. Yeah, that's an actual skull. So yeah. Also, hopefully you guys would excuse me for a minute. I'll be right back in less than a minute. Sorry about that, but I am back as promised. So now let's go to objects. So if you have an object that you're looking for but don't know where it is, like type dot look up obg and type in like the name of something you want. So I'm gonna go with high elf, and basically you'll see that you have a lot of items here. And if you click spawn, like these stairs will appear like they just did now, which is pretty nice because like you could make your own stuff in here, and you could even make a walls. And I'm gonna delete this, but I'm gonna try to find a building. All right, so like something like this. Whoa, and this is large too. So this is like high elven and stuff like that. And you also have like a little pieces of this removed because like some of this is from Draenor, no, Outland actually. And you can make your own stuff, but unless you're Windows 10 or lower, I wouldn't really recommend it because it crashes your game. So also if you want to delete something immediately, just select and then a right click delete. And also you can even move these things. Some of these things will be based off NPCs for some reason, but yeah, it's pretty good. And you can even choose the height, the scale, and other things. So if I want this thing to move forward, it's going to move forward. But I don't really want this thing in my sight anymore. And you can even spawn NPCs of your own, or you could look them up. So to do that, you either get the NPC ID and then go to NP spawn and then type in their ID, or you could go to look up creature, and I'm gonna say Illidan. So as you can see, there's lots of different models of this because they're scripted another way. And as you can see, he'll appear. And if you want to possess this NPC, go to like type in .poz or nppoz. Oh, you have to click on them actually, and then click np poz. Well, POS. Or possess. So there you go. Basically, your character will be looking around and stuff like that, and there's not really much you can do. But if you want to look like the NPC, like I'll tell you that after I tell you how to unpossess. So type in .unpuz, and I don't know why, but he's hostile all of a sudden. And so to kill an NPC, just type .mp kill, or if you just want to get rid of it, just type np del for delete. And if you want to look like an NPC or something like that without taking over, all you have to do is type .morph, and then the display ID will be right here, and then you'll go to I'm going to type in his display ID, which is not to be confused with their NPC ID. So as you can see, I am now Illidan. But if you want to go back to your normal self, type dot demorph. And if you want an NPC to follow you, click on them and then type NP fall. So now they're following you. They won't always be as fast as you, but it's still pretty good. And I'm not quite sure how to make them angry, but there is a way. So next, we're gonna go on to items. Certain items will be allowed, and certain items won't be, depending on like if they're from Battle of Azeroth and stuff. And you could you could equip just about anything: leather, plate, mail, cloth, you name it. As long as it's not like class exclusive, I don't think there's anything that could be wrong with that. And you could even wear holiday exclusives past their original date. And also pets. Sometimes those will be creatures. Sometimes they'll be items. So we got Mercadin, which I do not own in any way. I'm just experimenting on this, and all I'm doing is I'm not pirating Blizzard's system. I'm just like having fun with the game. I mean, like they're not gonna lose any money out of this whatsoever. And we got Grumpy, whoever that is. And we got a lot of people, and a Hydra Wisp named Navi, which I put for my Zelda roleplay. And alright, so now let's go to teleports. So if you know the place, you could type .tele, and I'll type in Gilneas, and you'll arrive in Gilneas. But nobody is here because it's a ghost town, and this is the starting location. So basically, certain places will not be in the map, sort of like the Greymane Forest over there, and also known as the Blackwild, and other things. You have to either be in the ruins of Gilneas or just have Gilneas differently. And you can even teleport to Stormwind if you want. But if you don't know how to type it exactly how it is, basically what you're gonna want to do is type look up tele, and let's say you want to go to an unknown location or a unfinished location, something like that, a place that you're not usually allowed to go in. So let's see. Let's type Wandering Isle. So yeah, you can go back there basically, and pretty much it's all yours. And you can also delete the props here or something like that by going to typing .ph shift, and let me make sure ph shift doodads, ph shift doodads zone. And let me just do this real quick. So I think you go to unload, something like that. Alright, so you type false, I think. Let me just make sure. Also, you have to do shift doodads or something like that, or you could go to shift ph shift doodads adt, and so as you can see, it's slightly frozen, but this is only because it's working on it. So as you can see, a lot of things are gone, but if you want to bring them back, you can by just typing that again. ph shift doodads zone, well, doodads adt, and there they are, they're back. And you can make your own NPC by typing ph for np create. So this is just an example character, so I won't really be doing much with this. I'm going to be deleting this one after. So to edit your character, click on him or her, go to this Epsilon tab right here, go to NPC Forge, and then go to Forge. You can even choose their name. Let's just say Test Dummy. And you, if you want to have a sub name, you could just have it here. And I'll just have his sub name as Practice. You can even choose their race and stuff. You could even make them a Naga. Like you can make them a dwarf, a night elf, literally whatever you want, just as long as it's available. And you have several skin colors and stuff like that, and you can choose to have them male or female. And you can choose their facial hair and everything. And if you want them to wear something, basically all you're gonna have to do is make sure you type in the ID of the item. So this goes in their waist. So I'm gonna type this little thing in: 163271. This will only be for their waist. And as you can see, he's now wearing a belt, which is nice. So we're gonna actually delete this NPC. So to delete this NPC completely, so you want to go to np forge, well, ph forge np list. You can also spawn the ones that you made here, and we go to test dummy, and it'll ask if you are sure. So make sure you mean it, and I mean it, so I'm deleting this one. And there's also a lot of other characters that I made, like Garethos, who is soon to be completed, and he's a racist knight. So NP Del to just get him out of this one, but you can spawn him again if you just do NP Del. And Captain Sharpbeard, I'm still working on him, and some of these characters just have the same name tags, but I changed their I changed their model. So basically, this merchant right here, like if you want them to look different, just type np set mod, and then do the display ID that you want. But I'm not gonna do that, so I'm gonna just delete this one again. Alright, now on to collections. Like if you want something quickly, you can either learn the spell or get the item. So some of these items will only be available to the Horde or the Alliance, which kind of sucks, even though it's factionless game. So basically there'll be a lot of things that you can use and that you can't use, stuff like that. And you even got an Illidari Fellstalker. You can get exclusives, but I suggest that you do not pirate any of these. Like if you're gonna use them for fun roleplay and not piracy. Like Blizzard won't mind if you're just using this for roleplay, but if you're using this like for personal gain and stuff like that, then yeah, Blizzard could probably ban you. But just as long as you're just sticking to roleplay, and non-profit stuff, that's perfectly okay. And we also got the Steelbound Deceiver. We got Stormwind Steed. We got a lot of items. And this can only be used by the Horde. And all mounts can fly, surprisingly. And as for pets, you can get most of the pets here as long as they're from the current expansion. And you can even get toys too. So I'm going to use this Demon Hunter toy thing. But I'm going to unclick it. So if you want an item like a toy or something or an appearance, what you do is type !add item space, and if you want to, like, you can either type in the ID or you could just shift and click this, and then it's in your equipment. So now I could wear this thing, and that is pretty damn cool, if I'm being honest. And there's lots that you can do in here. Like, truly, Epsilon WoW is your world. Make your own rules, play your own game. It's like whatever you say goes. And you could even hang out with friends. You could do a lot of things, and you could even have your own guild without signatures. Like, mine is also known as the Union or the United, which is a factionless faction that I made, and stuff like that. And yeah, and you can even do tracking. You can even have logs. You can have Moglit or whatever that's called. And if you want to visit someone else's phase, type PHO, and then you'll get a list of currently open phases, and then you can join them. But make sure to read the rules, otherwise there's a strong chance that you might get kicked out or banned. So yeah, and if you want to leave your phase, just type PH exit. But make sure to have a period in front, because if you don't, then these commands will not work. Otherwise, you'll just be talking to yourself. Like, when I say look up, it'll just have my character say look up, and nothing will be there. And all weapons can be used, regardless of your class, race, or anything. Or even faction. So basically, yeah. And also, if you go to a Horde territory, they won't attack you if you're a part of the Alliance. Basically, they'll just leave you alone. So basically, I'm gonna go to Silvermoon. And another reason why no one would attack me is because in your phase, the NPCs aren't there, but they won't attack you. So you're welcome to be in Silvermoon City, Orgrimmar. Basically, you can go anywhere you want as long as it's in the game and the files. And yeah. So you can also go to the Isle of Quel'Danas without having to be level 28, but everyone's level 20. So I'm going to basically run to the Isle of Quel'Danas. You can also modify your speed and scale, but before I show you that, let's go to the Isle of Quel'Danas. Alright, so we got the Dead Scar over here, which is basically a rip in the middle of the ground. And the Dawning Square and stuff like that. But in the game, the Isle of Quel'Danas is the only part of Silvermoon everyone's allowed to go in without permission. And I even made my own NPC of Kael'thas standing right here. So the classic version of him is still here. Like, he still looks like the statue. So I decided, how about I just make him like look a little bit newer. So yeah, we got Prince Kael'thas, Prince of Quel'Thalas. And Anduin is, like, my version of Anduin is in Stormwind. So yeah. So to modify your scale, type mod scale, and I think the limit is 10. And if you want to go back to normal, just click mod scale and then just 1. You can even shrink. And I think you can do the same thing with your speed if you type mod speed something. Like, I'm trying not to make this video too long because it's already almost an hour as it is. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed all that. And if you need a FAQ, there's a Discord server which I will not link because it's in the it's in the official website. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and have a happy day. Peace.